Prayers in the waters, all praises to the daughters of the infinite, divine feminine. Y'all witnessing God penmanship, long discipline, strong fishermen, all reeling in fruits of the labor. Tell the truth, I put the boots on the table. Who else down to hold you up? Bit the bitter cola nut. Everyone enrolled with us. E-Day on the left wrist. Gave death a wet kiss. Told her I'll be back when I finish.
Welcome. This is Alchemizing Energy, and this is another great interview that, I love to interview different people and discuss different topics. Today we have a special guest, Rakim Al Jabaar. He is a hip hop artist out of the Dallas, Texas area. He's been doing it since he was in middle school, 12 years old, as a rapper, battling father, legendary rapper out of the Dallas area. And we're going to go into his hip hop upbringings, as well as how it has influenced him into African spirituality. So without further ado, let's bring our special guest, Rakim Al Jabaar. Welcome, Rakim Al Jabaar. Oh, hit the mute. You're muted.
I was gonna mute me now. That's crazy.
Welcome. You know what? Tomato, but something I want to say Rakim. I don't know why, but yes, Rakim. You were named after Rakim.
There we go, for sure.
Eric being Rakim. Who named you?
My father.
Was he heavily in your life? Like, okay, he named you after Rakim, so that means he had to be really into hip hop to name his son after Rakim.
Yeah, that was his favorite rapper. They did a few shows together, and he already knew he wanted me to be a rapper. And so him and my mama had a big argument and fight about my name. He wanted my name to be Rakim Al Jabaar because the God MC, his name Rakim Allah. You know what I'm saying? And Al Jabaar is one of the names, one of the attributes of Allah. And so my mother, being the beautiful woman that she is, she conceded, allowed him to name me Rakim Al Jabaar, and she just called me the name that she wanted to name me.
Wow.
So my family don't call me Rakim.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Here's the question. So your actual name on your birth, Rakim Al Jabaar. Your father sounds like he Muslim? Why would he name Al Jabaar and be named after Allah? And then your mom, was she Muslim as well? Or how was that like growing up if she didn't know?
It was a combination of him being Muslim and just, at that time period, everybody in hip hop was wearing the African medallions. They was into the 5% knowledge, things of that nature, right? And he was Muslim at the time when I was born. My mother is Christian. You know what I'm saying? Now, by the time my father transitioned, he had went back to Christianity.
Interesting. So what was it like growing in a household? Did you really experience the differences betwing a Muslim father and a Christian mother?
Nah, my father never lived with us. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't. But I knew that he was Muslim, and so I had a project to do, in like the 4th grade, where I used the Quran and the Bible for whatever that project was. And when I did that, I automatically seen the similarities between the two.
So was your father Nation of Islam Muslim, or was he like Sunni Muslim?
I can't even clarify that. I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
More than likely, I though.
Interesting. So how much was your father in your life, and how much did he influence you growing up?
He wasn't in my life a lot as far as his physical presence, because he made his money on the road, right, doing shows and things of that nature. And so he made his money on the road my whole life. I would see him when he came back off the road. I also, in hindsight, I realized through having conversations with my mother, I had already deducted the disdain that she had for rap music, because she felt like that's the only reason that their relationship didn't work. Right? And so she had a disdain for that. And so there was a small time period in my life where I lived with my grandmother, my mother's mother, and I spent more time with my father when I was living with my granny than I did when my mama was there. You know what I'm saying? But the time I did spend with him, I've been to the studio or even at the house. They had like a little setup with these big ass speakers and shit, and they'd be in there working on music. And so I was influenced mainly by the sound. They are credited for bringing that 808 sound to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Nobody 808s hit like Nemesis 808 hit to this day. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they give Miami the credit for the bass, but you can go check the records and you'll see that Nemesis was the first group to take that 808 as low as it could possibly go and be heard by the human ear.
Which member was he in the group? MC Azim, or which member was he?
Big Al.
Okay, Big Al. Okay,
Yeah.
Big Al, aka Al English. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. And so, was he like a big, like, I mean, how much? Because it looked like there was a lot of people in this group, Nemesis, like 5, 6 people.
Okay, so when it started out, my father was a DJ. Okay, DJ General Jam, right? Um, he studied up under one of the biggest DJs in Dallas history, DJ Uche. And so Uche was building his own club. My father was helping him set it up. This other young guy comes in, he says he wants to help. My father felt like he trying to sneak and take his job. So he started calling him DJ Snake, and the name stuck. So Snake and Big Al was DJs.
Like rival DJs.
No.
They weren't rivals. Okay, even though he felt like he was getting snaked out of it, he found out later it wasn't true, so he just kept the name anyway.
Yeah. The name just stuck because my father was more known than him, and he was just calling him DJ Snake, so the name stuck. They got cool. They got cool though. They working at the same club. You know?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And then they had a crew. One crew was called Something Fresh, and the other crew, I forget the name, but they had a battle. And after they battled, they decided to come together. When they came together, they made the name Nemesis, right? Which so if you look at that first album cover, that's an independent album to Hell and Back. They pressed that vinyl up themselves and sold it out the trunk. That's how they later got the record deal. So, but by the time they get the deal, the majority of those people that you see on the front is gone. They went on with their life. They went to college to play football or just pursue their degree or whatever it was, right? So what was left was MC Azim, DJ Snake, who was the producer, and then my father had to step forward and become the rapper because there was nobody else to do it. And at the time, some of those records is already done, and he just has to be the face to the voice because they shooting videos, they performing in records or whatever, and they just signed a record deal. You know what I'm saying? So he only became a rapper to fill that void. He was just the DJ, he was the promotional man, and he was the brand. You know what I'm saying? The lifestyle, everything that went with it came from him.
Right. So he pretty much was handling all of the real business of it all. So he was like more of a leader. Was he like the leader of the group?
You could say that. Azim handled all the business. My father handled all the marketing and branding. You know what I'm saying? And
right. So this is like their album. I think that they came out in like
91.
91. Okay, that's around the same time that you know what, Slum Village and everybody was out too. That's interesting.
Yeah, at that when they signed their deal, they was on the same label as Run DMC, Houdini. They did very well. The single from that album was on the charts for 48 weeks. It's only 52 weeks in a year. You know what I'm saying? That's funny as hell.
You pretend to be Snoop Dogg. What? Yeah, you know, one thing about doing stuff live, people just say wild stuff when you live, right? So, all right, so you had a well-known, I mean, this was a well-known group. How far did they get in hip-hop? Like, were they, I mean, Profile, that's pretty big. Were they on tour with some of the big hip-hop greats, like with all that? You know, me, I didn't really hear about Nemesis that much. Like,
they They did shows with everybody. If you came here, you had to do a show with them. They went on tour with um um okay. Bobo Luciano is Nemesis affiliated, right? He was the hype man for an artist named Ron C. There's also Nemesis affiliated. Ron C came from the Nemesis camp. He dropped a solo album. I think his album went gold. It's called Trendsetter. Um, Ron C, they was on tour with Too Short. UGK was on that tour. Pimp C seen Bobo how good he was hype man from Ron, and then Pimp C hired Bobo to be his hype man. So if you listen to UGK Riding Dirty, on a song One Day You Here, One Day You Gone, when Pimp C say, my man Bobo just lost his baby in a house fire, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about somebody from Dallas. A lot of them spent a lot of time here. They did a lot of stuff.
You say Houston artists that like kind of blew up. Can you explain that time? What's interesting is like, Dallas music. You like me being from the North, even the East Coast, you don't really you probably would not know some of the big Dallas artists, if you just, when you hear them on the radio, you wouldn't know they were from Dallas.
Right.
Can you explain the high time in Dallas? Like what was some of the biggest artists that came out of Dallas, and where did your father and their group stand in that? Were they like the opening, the gatekeeper?
I was going to say a lot of people would consider like my father somebody like one of the cool Hercs or the flashes of this thing, right? Because before they was putting music out, they had their own radio show. That's what really gave them the leverage that they had. They had a radio show on a station called KNON, and my father used to fly to New York every 2 weeks and go meet with Red Alert. Red Alert would take him to the record store and help him buy all the new records that was coming out. And he would come back down here and play them on the radio. Now, other radio stations wasn't playing rap yet. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no K104 and 97.9 playing rap music yet. They was the ones playing it. So they was also able to use that to break their own music. They was known for the radio show and throwing parties. And they used that to break their own music. But we talking about 84, 85, 86.
Right. It's interesting when I hear about this, because when I listen to your music, it seemed like a more of an East Coast vibe to it. It doesn't sound like what I would think a Dallas artist would sound like. I think that
people be saying that, but it's only because like, what does Bun B in '96 sound like?
No.
Or what does Scarface sound like?
Well, yeah, but they do. But some of them you could tell they would kind of accentuate their accents. A lot of like Dallas, like
well, I had somebody do that to me at a show. He's yelling at me from the other side of the bar after I came out the stage, and he asked me where I'm from. And it's crazy because I said it on stage that night, and we in Dallas. I'm not from Dallas, and he like hell no. And he come over there and he talking to me. He like you're not from Dallas, and I started talking to him, and he just looking at me. His jaw dropped. He was like, "Shit, from the way you talking, I can tell you from Dallas, but you don't rap like it." And I just think that's like, once you get to the early 2000s, that's what people think of Dallas, right? But if you go to the 80s and the 90s, that's what was going on here. People was really rapping, whether they was from Dallas or Houston. Like, you know what I'm saying? Scarface don't rap like none of them Swisher House niggas.
Right, okay.
And he's the originator. He came out before them. You know what I'm saying? He came out in the 80s.
Right. Okay, so I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's no. So, but is there a Dallas sound now? Would you say that there's a specific like sound that you would say, okay, that would be Dallas? Like,
if you ask people what the Dallas sound is, they're gonna say boogie music because that's what's had the most success.
Right, and that's the dance where they,
Yeah.
Oh my mama. Oh, is that Dallas?
No, that's Houston. That's Charlie Boy.
Okay, what would be a Dallas song?
My Dougie.
Yeah, teach me how to Dougie.
No, my Dougie.
My Dougie.
Teach Me How to Dougie is California stealing some Dallas shit. And he's saying,
Ah.
teach me how to Dougie.
Ah.
In Dallas, we Dougie. You know what I'm saying?
Right, and I know that dance. There, I see people doing it. It's actually pretty smooth. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it seemed like Dallas was good with the dances. Like they was good at coming up with the dance. So, was there a big dance like scene in Dallas at the time, or is this just how people would just get down?
Well, no, listen. Hip hop in general. What's the first element of hip hop? You know,
Graffiti,
graffiti. Okay. What's the next one?
DJ, MC, and
No.
breakdancer.
What come after the DJ?
The MC.
No.
The five elements of hip hop: graffiti, DJ, hip hop, DJ, MC, graffiti, and dance.
I'm saying in what order did they appear on the planet?
I don't know.
You said right with graffiti. After the DJ, it's the breakdancer, the b-boy, the beat girl, or whatever. So it's no city that you can look to that became a staple in hip hop culture that didn't start with dance music. Right?
Right.
So it's just what it is. Now, one of the most popular dancers from back in the day in Dallas hip hop was a white boy named Robbie Van Winkle. You know what I'm saying? You know who that is?
Looks like Vanilla Ice, right?
Exactly. But before he was rapping, he was one of the most known dancers out here in the 80s.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, they say
There was a whole was it a break dancing thing, or was it more like call and response type of dances, like the or not call and response, but more like the.
No, they was breaking in everything that was going on. The problem is we didn't have this documented, right? I ask people all the time, what is the first time you saw hip hop in real life? You know what I mean? For me, I probably was like 4 or 5 years old. I came down the stairs in the apartments, and it was the older kids had a boom box. They had cardboard out, and they was breakdancing on the cardboard right there. This in Dallas, Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, you know what? Me being from, I was actually born in New Jersey, so my first time was break dancing, scene dancing. So yeah.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that shit been going on here the whole time.
So everything is happening simultaneously. People get it mixed up. When they think down south, we think that down south had their own movement that's separate from the rest of the hip hop movement. That y'all didn't like New York and like that other type of stuff. I mean, from up north where I'm from, I thought down south people wasn't feeling that. They had their own music and their own movement, and they wasn't really necessarily on the New York. They didn't like New York hip hop.
Well, the problem is that New York is operating under the belief that they own hip hop and that they created it. You feel me? So they don't like what we do. It's just like, no, they're in another region, and so they have their own twist to what it is that they do, right? Up north, I be hearing up north niggas say they eat stuffing. I ain't never ate no stuffing a day in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We eat dressing. You know
Right.
We don't
Do
eat
y'all drink
stuffing.
pop or soda? Y'all drink pop, right?
Huh?
So, when y'all drink pop or soda?
We drink soda water.
Oh, soda water. That's even. I ain't even heard of that. Soda water. Wow. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Pop is a more Midwest type of thing.
Yeah, I went to high school in the Midwest. We said pop. Yeah.
Yeah, my mama say pop. She's from Colorado. Like they say that pop shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what's was a pop, right?
You
So
know what I'm
check this out. So you're saying your dad was working with Cool Herc. That's why I was like, what? He worked with Cool Herc? So
No. I said he would be viewed as a Cool
no.
Herc.
You said he would go up to New York and be working. Well, who did you say he was
Red
working
Alert.
with?
I said he would
Red
go
Alert.
be
My
Red.
bad.
Yeah, man,
Red
he worked
Alert.
with Red Alert. He worked with. If you look in the thank yous on their first album, DJ Clark Kenny's there. Like they was at the beginning of the thing, so they had the relationships with all those people. Whenever I go around any of the OGs in hip hop anywhere in the country and I bring their name up, they know who I'm talking about. It's never a question.
So it wasn't that much separation between that happened later on with the down south versus up north versus the California rap. There was one time where people were all working together.
Of course, that didn't happen until the media did that thing with the East Coast West Coast shit.
Interesting, interesting.
All the artists from that era will tell you that.
Ah, so the media did that. Interesting. I didn't know. I thought it was really a thing. You know, me as a kid, I'm watching it happening. I
Yeah.
don't know just the politics. You're lucky to like know that because
Oh,
you know.
you got Tupac on camera saying that. He said the media is trying to hype this up as some East Coast West Coast thing. It's not. It's two people. It's a problem between one guy and another guy. It's not no East Coast versus West Coast thing. That's why they started trying to do Death Row East and things of that nature. He trying to do Thug Life East because they was trying to kill it and let it be known. They're like, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's not no East Coast West Coast shit. That was something that the media created to make money.
You think it was the media, or do you think that when people saw that hip hop was becoming a thing of money, that the record label owners needed to separate it in order to conquer it?
I mean, we saying the same thing.
Well, the media is just the news, right? MTV, stuff like that. But I'm talking about Interscope, like owned by
Who
uh,
own all those? Who own all those companies? Like what we
it starts with a J and it ends with a W. Okay. So I didn't want to say that.
like what we saying?
But is that the media? Or are we saying that? Well, technically, now that you think about it, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's talk about like your upbringing in hip hop. Okay, with that background, all right, coming from being raised in Duncanville, Cedar Hill, Grand Prairie, that you say you're considered Dallas. How did growing up in that specific area shape your worldview and approach your to music? And do you ever get any flack with all this stuff going on? There were people that had even got unalive because they were trying to claim Dallas, Oak Cliff, and there was like this whole war with, I'm not going to say the rappers' names, but and the people, but there was like this whole thing, about, well, you're not from Dallas and this, that, and the other. Some of the notable rappers that came out, did you get any flack by, even though you were not necessarily from Oak Cliff or whatever, but you're from like Duncanville, Cedar Hill, that area? Did you get any flack from that by saying, hey, we're all Dallas?
uh, for one, that scenario that you're speaking about didn't have nothing to do with where bro was from. You know what I'm saying? Um, for two, I be saying Duncanville because I don't give a fuck. You heard? Um, technically, I have lived in Duncanville city limits maybe for like 16 months out of my entire life. Right? Where I'm from is Dallas. The school district zoning sends you to Duncanville. You know what I'm saying? You can live in Oak Cliff and go to Duncanville High School. You feel what I'm saying? It just worked that way. Um, the neighborhood that I represent, you can catch the DART bus in my neighborhood. You feel me? So if you can catch the DART bus, then you already know that we in Dallas. However,
Wait, did you have to catch the dark bus to school?
when I first started rapping, when I left the school, when we left the school, we would walk to the end of the street and get on the DART bus to catch it to my partner Jamar house because his mama was the first one to buy him the equipment. We would ride the DART bus to his house so we could rap when we got out of school in the ninth grade.
Wow. And you know what, from what I'm seeing, that you started rapping at the age of 12,
Yeah.
and I think that's around the time when your father passed, right? And so how much of an impact of your father's passing and you picking up the mic, how much of that influenced you today, like being a rapper? Because I mean, from what I understood from past interviews, you're saying that your family didn't necessarily agree with you rapping, but then
Nah,
you do it
my
anyway.
daddy always wanted me to rap. My mama wasn't having that shit. So, in hindsight, that's why she kept me away from the nigga. It makes sense. He would have had me in the studio every fucking day, right? And so when
Right,
he
you probably
passed,
could have been the next little Bow Wow.
for sure. When he passed, I was in the seventh grade, and he passed in December, right? Second semester in English class is when you get into poetry, right? And so through writing the poetry in class, my emotions was coming out naturally. And the teacher pulled me to the side and was like, "Hey, you know, I think you're talented. I think this is therapeutic for you, and so you should keep writing." You know what I'm saying? And so that's what led to me really embracing it and putting that pen to paper. That's what started my journey with that. You know what I'm saying? And I knew my father wanted me to rap too, so it all went together.
I'm sorry. So explain like that time frame period. Okay, so you're in high school and from what I understand is that you pretty much got into sports as well, right? And
Yeah.
you had to choose between hip hop and sports, right? Becoming a football player. And
Nah, I didn't have to choose, but my
all right,
heart was my heart was naturally leaning more so to rhyming for sure. Like the deeper I fell in love with rhyme, I fell out of love with football. And the white man that was coaching me made that very easy. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't really know what to do with me. In the Duncanville program, the number one thing they're gonna do is take the best athlete on the field and put him in quarterback. But I'm 5'8", so I'm not finna get recruited as a quarterback. You stifling my growth and my opportunities in college because you got me playing quarterback when I'm a running back just because I'm the best athlete on the field. You know what I'm saying?
right. So because Texas is a very huge football place, they get to like almost recruiting you and grooming you to be a
Oh,
football
it's
player.
all type of shit. When I was in the seventh grade, I'll never forget. I can't remember this. I think his name was Coach Esther, right? He was the one who used to say the wildest shit to us. Like, if he didn't want us to do something wrong, he would tell you that if you did it wrong, you was gonna make your dick shrink. You know what I'm saying? And then he used to always talk about hair on the back of our thighs, right? So I'll never forget. I can see it clear as day in my head right now. I come in the locker room and he's sitting around with the group of coaches and he talking about me. And he was like, "Come here." You know what I'm saying? And he looked at the back of my thigh. He was like, "See y'all, I told y'all." What he was saying was, if you didn't have hair on the back of your thigh yet, then you was still growing and things of that nature, right? So that was a way that he could look at a player and tell that that player was still going to improve in their performance. It sounds like some slave shit, really, right?
Yeah, it does. What the
So
heck? So,
look, so
so that's
now,
how deep that football stuff goes.
yeah.
And I'm
So
gonna tell
look,
you what, the same thing happens in track and field. Like Texas is weird. Like
but
Ohio
look,
is like that too. Now that's why
look though. So now he's trying to convince me and my mother that I should stay in the seventh grade. Mind you, I'm a straight A student, but he's saying I should stay in the seventh grade because my talent is already off the charts. So if I stay back with all them other kids, I'm gonna stick out like a sore thumb. So
right.
he
You'll
want me to
be
stay
more
back a year and play in seventh grade again and be ahead. At the same time, we got a school from Oklahoma. I don't know how the fuck they found me. They come down in Texas, tell my mama that they will pay for us to move to Oklahoma. They already have a job for her. They have a house for her. And in whatever system they got, I could play varsity in the eighth grade. So I'm gonna be starting on varsity for 5 years. And they're gonna give her X amount of
wait in varsity on the high school team
yeah.
because you're a pretty big guy growing up. They saw that you were gonna be a like a certain
No,
stature.
no. At this time, at this time, seventh grade, I was like 125. So I'm kind of like, but I'm all muscle and I'm very fast. You know what I'm saying? And I've been playing football my whole life, so I'm more advanced than niggas who like just started playing once they got to like 10 or some shit. I've been playing football since I was 4. You know what I'm saying? So I was just talented. But that was the type of recruitment that was going on around. But once I got to high school, they moving me around and trying to like benefit them. They're not putting me in the best position for myself, right? And at the same time, I'm falling in love with hip hop more and more. I'm studying different artists, different albums and different aspects of the culture, and that has my attention more than football does. So by the time I get to like 11th grade, I'm really only playing football because my granny and my mama want to see me do that shit. I don't give a fuck about this no more.
So when did you get out of it? I mean, I'm sure that they were trying to recruit you to go to college, and that's a big,
Nah,
big thing.
I hurt myself my senior year, but I know in hindsight I would say that was IFA. I hurt myself my senior year to where I could never play again.
Really? What happened?
I picked this guy up and I slammed him into the ground, but the way I did it, my shoulder went into the ground and it gave me some nerve damage.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And you say that that was E5. Now, knowing
Yeah,
that your
yeah, yeah.
mom is Christian, knowing that your dad, so we're going to get into your spirituality and when you picked it up and what made you get into that. Was that something that happened earlier in your school, in high school, or is it something that happened after you became an adult?
Spirituality.
Yes.
That's like my senior year of high school is when I started like investigating. You know what I'm saying? So like my senior year of high school, I had people that was close to me that was telling other people that I was either an atheist or a Satanist or whatever. Because truthfully, I didn't understand all of the information that I was absorbing. And they didn't understand and comprehend the conversations that they was having with me because, for the average person that look like us, that come into that knowledge, the first thing that hits you is the anger. Because you feel like everybody been lying to you your whole life. So, if a nigga say Jesus around me at that time, I'm saying fuck Jesus off top. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's not the right thing to say.
You're in high school doing this? Oh, Lord. Come on now. In the Bible Belt in Texas? What?
Right, right. You know what I'm saying? So I was on some
So they
I
was
was on
like,
some
stay away
other
from him. He didn't lost his mind. He didn't broke his arm and lost his mind. After he got it, they probably was like, after he got that, he done lost all faith in God and everything. I mean, do you think that's what they was thinking? Like, man,
I mean, they just thought I was crazy. I can tell you that.
wow.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought I was crazy. And I understand that shit in hindsight. You feel me? Like it makes sense. In they shoes I probably would have thought the same thing. You feel me? But yeah, I was already I had been curious for a long time, but that's when I started like seeking books that I could read, getting on the dark web, looking for information. You know what I'm saying? Like my last year and a half of high school, that's what I was on.
So when did you put out your first album?
2017.
Okay. All right. And so you have the album. Was that the FM 4840?
Nah, there's no pen theory.
Hmm. But I noticed that you spit from memory. So even on that where you just all doing it from memory, what made you even develop that tool to be able to like remember all your rhymes from memory and not have to read it or kind of write them down, things like that.
Um, one of them years, probably ninth grade, my mama found my rap book and like it was some discrepancies about some things that was in it, and she threw it away. You know, and that shit broke my heart. You know what I'm saying? And
Wow.
so, oh, matter of fact, you know what? That's actually seventh grade, but it took me a while to perfect this process. So she did that seventh, eighth grade, right? And so what I started doing was in class, I would write the rhyme on my forearm right here, and then I would memorize it, and I would wash it off before I went home, right? I started doing that, little things like that, keeping paper in my wallet that I can fold up. I wasn't doing the rap book shit no more because I'm thinking if she find it, she gonna throw it away. And then through studying, I've heard that Hove didn't write his rhymes down. You know what I'm saying? And so when I used to go to the studio with my older homies when I was like 14, I would write my verse there, record it, and throw it away, right? And when I did that, I would write the title of the song at the top, write the verse. And one day, I wrote the title of the song, and I came up with the whole verse without writing any words down. And I was like, oh shit, I done finally figured it out. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that I was doing with the writing on my arm, erasing it, writing on papers, hiding them, whatever, boom, boom, I had to learn how to memorize them anyway. And then in that era, you still can run into somebody else who rap, and then now y'all got a battle. You know what I'm saying? And niggas wasn't really freestyling. A lot of niggas alive said they was, but it was about how many rhymes you had in your head that you could spit. You know what I'm saying? So I had already been programming rhymes in my mind that I wrote, which helped train me to learn how to just memorize rhymes. So after that day where I didn't write the verse down, shit, I just stopped writing them hoes down. That shit was like 20 years ago at this point. You know what I'm saying?
One of your things says you're in the middle, too weird to be street, too street to be weird. How does that duality manifest in your music? And I know you're a Gemini, so is it because that Gemini aspect of you? How do you balance those elements when you're building your music?
I don't have to. I just gotta be myself. It's gonna come out. You know what I'm saying? That's a wild ass statement, my boy. Something wrong with you. Black immigrant is crazy.
You know what? We're gonna get into this now because they're trying to get us to have this FBA conversation.
What's wrong with these niggas?
You know what? Because they know I'm Pan African, they always want to come up here and bring that FBA stuff. Like no matter who I have on here, I could have Mona Lisa up here and talk about the patent. Somehow try to figure about FBA.
That shit was wild flagrant. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I wanted to let's just skip forward. Let's just really get into.
Nah, fuck them. Don't let them control this shit. Go on wherever fuck we.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go into this. Okay, the concept of soil. On FM 480 has layers, literal and community roots, even metaphoric soul. What does being loyal to the soul personally mean for you, and how do you hope listeners interpret that?
You did a little homework. Okay, soil. Loyal to the soil is this go back to what we just said with the question that you just asked me because I remember now. Okay. So loyal to the soil is a street term, right? I'm loyal to the soil. I'm loyal to the neighborhood that I come from. I'm loyal to the people from that neighborhood. I'm loyal to the code that is associated with the streets, right? Loyal to the soil is the soil is a representation of the earth. So I'm loyal to the earth. I understand the importance of interacting with nature. I understand the importance of maintaining, enhancing, and improving the soil that provides us sustenance, right? And to add on top of that, I'm loyal to the soil, as in the soil being the woman that I plant my seed in. So I'm loyal to the divine feminine, and I had the utmost respect for it. And I know that it is my duty to nurture and nourish the soil so that we can have the best possible outcome in our future as a collective. So that's what it is.
Right. So I think that people are getting mad because your mom threw away your book, but at the end of the day, you love your mom. That's your divine feminine, and she was only trying to protect you.
I mean, just the thing, regardless of what she was trying to do, right? She's a woman with her own intentions, and she's still my mother. I'm not one of those people that is carrying trauma or disdain for their mother. My mother made a lot of sacrifices for me to be here today, for me to live the life that I live. You know what I mean? And I just had recent conversations with somebody. It's only one person. It's only one entity. Fuck a person. There's only one entity that can disrespect my mother, and I can't do nothing about it, right? And that's my grandmother. Anybody else that disrespect my mother is gonna be a problem. I don't care who you are. That when I say anybody, literally, if my father was here and alive and he disrespected my mother, we would have to fight. If Jesus show up and he disrespect my mother, I'm slapping fire out that nigga. That's just how I am. That's
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing about my mama with no
right.
You know what I'm saying? Under no circumstances, nigga. I'm gonna crash out. All that spiritual shit gonna go out the window. It's gone.
Well, like I said, you practice E5, so it ain't really going. It ain't going to crash out. That's part of it. There's a good side and a bad side to everybody. So
I don't understand that shit. She did what she did. I still love her. She
hey,
what she did was made me better. You heard
mm,
it? Whether that was her intention or she knew what she was doing or not, she made it to where niggas can't fuck with me. That's a
right,
fact. You know what I mean?
right, amen. So you being named after the legendary Rakim, having a well-known father in the hip hop, being a part of a legendary, lineage. Do you feel there's any like pressure to be greater? How does it affect how you define success for yourself?
Um, I get that question so many times. Um, I am aware that I'm aware of what comes with that. It don't feel like pressure though. You feel me? Like I just knew that when I stepped outside, whenever I stepped outside to the public and I wanted to carry my name and be who I am, that I had to rap at a very high level. You know what I'm saying? And how I define success is when I've met people that people consider God MCs, whether I met them personally or they heard my music and sent a message to me through someone else, they all looked at me like an equal, and that means that I did what I was supposed to do.
So in your music, you're speaking about, and just in general, you spoke about wanting to preserve the essence of hip hop. Also, bring metaphysical and spiritual elements into your music. How do you think with modern rap culture is doing a balancing commercial success with depth and authenticity? What role do you see yourself playing in that? And I'll say this is that you have a lot of people that have taken your path that have like kind of gotten into E5, but I don't necessarily see the same elements of trying to talk about IFA in their music. What makes you want to do that different?
So that's not everybody's purpose. Everybody's not meant to be a teacher or a leader or things of that nature. So, they probably doing whatever was in their old do. You feel me? They living out their destiny. I gotta live out mine. You know what I'm saying? It's not even it's not something that I was looking for. I wasn't looking to be a RO. You know what I'm saying? Or none of that nature. I was looking for knowledge and information and the truth and wisdom. And, that's where it led me. And I just know that no matter what level I operate on, no matter what environment that you place me in, I have a certain level of influence. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be positioned as a leader in whatever environment that you place me in. And I understand what comes with that. Right? So I'm supposed to use my influence to at the very least place another option on the table for the children for them to choose from.
So let's get into your journey with IFA. How did you even find out about IFA?
I
What
found
was
out I found out about E5 when I was very young, probably like somewhere between 18 and 20. Um, but I I knew from what I studied that I had to meet a Babalawo, and I had never met one, so I just sat it down. You know what I mean? I sat it down until I ran into one. I started running into people that practice E5 probably around 2017, 2018. You know what I'm saying? This is like, 10 years after me reading about E5. And so, when I was ready, those people came into my life and I started studying and practicing under them.
mm, I want to play a video for you, and I want to get your opinion
Okay.
of this because I think it's interesting. Hold on, let me just bring this up real quick. Because now it seems that now that IFA has become more in the mainstream, you got more people talking about it, but then you also have more people that are Christian that, when they hear certain things, they demonize it, right? So let's go into it.
Heard of it. That's what a lot of people practice it like Santeria or somebody. Some people
Beyonce.
do. Yeah, Beyonce practiced
How
IFA.
do you
She a
know
child of
Beyonce
Ocean.
practices it?
She a child of Ocean. She got songs. She got songs like
Oh, for real?
talking about her ancestor. Every time she dressed up like her ancestor. When she was pregnant, she dressed up as Oshun.
Oh, wow. So have you ever spoken with the dead?
Yeah, I feed them.
What do you mean?
I feed them all the time. I take care of them for them to take care of me every day.
This is a religion that originated in Africa?
Yeah. It's the religion that they say all African Americans are supposed to practice.
Now that's a rapper, Stunner for Vegas, an artist that the baby signed back in the day, talking about the Yoruba religion in Beyonce. Once again, somebody else is talking about Beyonce being a witch. At the end of the interview, he goes on to call the interviewer brainwashed. Yet he's the one feeding dead people. Guys, pay attention to who you're listening to and the songs you're singing. Because a lot of different times you're singing to an ancestor or a different god you have no idea you're singing to. Why? Because you're choosing to listen to these witches and these warlocks. This is why I always say be careful what goes into your eyes and your ears, because these are your portals. These are your gates. You need to hold firm at your gates and keep your gates closed and locked, because once you open them to the wrong spiritual things, that's when you come into agreement with demonic activity. And believe it or not, you listening to Beyonce, you're coming into agreement with demonic activity. Why? Because just like she said in her song, she's giving off that Oshun energy. You think she out here dressing like Oshun for no reason? No, this is a whole ritual. This is her showing her allegiance. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not to Christ. Beyonce may have used to been a Christian. However, she got with Jay-Z. She started being around the wrong people. Now she's completely into spirituality, African ancestry. That has nothing to do with the one true living God. That has nothing to do with Yahweh. She's completely lost, completely clouded. Her judgment is completely crowded. She's completely in darkness. She's with Jay-Z, somebody who said that Jesus can't save you. Then in his other song, he said that I told my wife the spiritual stuff really work. What spiritual stuff do you think he's talking about? This. May the Lord bring light. Hallelujah.
Oh shit!
Thoughts?
I love that guy, man. You know what I'm saying? I love his videos. Um, I enjoy ignorance. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's all it is. He don't know what he's talking about. It's not the. I don't think about it. I don't have no thoughts about it. I know he don't know what he's talking about.
Can you break it down though? Because like I said, there's a lot of people that are now, in the new hip hop era that are embracing E5, that are getting back to their roots, right? You
Yeah,
include. But
yeah.
then they'll say if they find out that you are an E5, they're a Christian, and now you become a warlock, you're a witch, you're a this, you're a that. Listening to your stuff is now they're listening to a ceremony, it's a ritual. Like, can we discuss like how music has influenced us this whole time, and how because the people are not just necessarily like on this saying okay, well, Jesus, well, now they're getting into their roots. Now it's all becoming that you're a warlock or a witch. I mean, and have you had people call you and think that you were a witch now or a warlock? Have you experienced anything like that?
Yeah, of course.
Go into that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about it, because you as being a musician, right? Let's go.
Uh, I mean, you know, anybody who's a Christian, you're only a Christian because of the transatlantic slave trade. That's very simple. Um, however, um, you can be a Christian and you can practice Ifa at the same time. You can be a Muslim and you can practice Ifa at the same time. You can be a Jew and you can practice Ifa at the same time. Ifa is not a religion, right? But in this Western mind that we have, we still view everything through a European lens, right? And so, since that guy that was talking, he has a European mind, so he thinks Oshun is a goddess. You know, that's the only way that he can label it, that's the only form of understanding that he has, right? He would call me a warlock. I'm not no fucking warlock. Those are Wiccan terms. You know what I mean? Witches, all that shit is Wiccan. Once again, it's all European, but you don't know that because you don't read. And you never read your own book, and you don't speak Hebrew, so you definitely ain't never read your own book. So it's nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about drowning horses. You feel me? Niggas that make videos like that and talk like that, they just, I'm not even gonna say that. But you know, it just be differences, you know, and we stand on different sides of the field. And that's cool. I know what jersey you got on, I know what jersey I got on. I'm not here to convince nobody or nothing. E5 is not Christianity. I'm not going around trying to convince niggas to come to E5. If anything, I would convince more of you niggas to stay over there. So believe whatever you want to believe. I could give a fuck. It ain't got nothing to do with me. My Baba always said, keep your eyes on your own mat. What the next man doing, thinking, believing, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me. I can't waste no time and energy on that. It's comical. If I need to laugh, I'll pull up his videos and cry laughing at that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But that's about it. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. He's stupid.
Right. And you see a lot of interviews like this. You see a lot of you have people that are rappers that are like get up there and they're like, I was a warlock in the EFA tradition. It's like, no, you wasn't, because we don't
Well,
consider.
that's because a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? There's no disrespect or slight to nobody, because I don't feel no way about nobody. But when you get to motherfuckers, for one, anybody in America, in the Americas, in the Western world, a lot of people consider Ifa a religion. A lot of people consider the Orishas to be gods and goddesses. These are people that practice. I'm not talking about nobody on the outside looking in that we know don't know no better. It's people who practice that consider this a religion. They consider these deities to be gods and goddesses. They consider their Orishas to be mad at them, right? Because the God of the Bible be mad at his people. He's a jealous God. So they left Christianity, but they have not decolonized their mind. So they looking at it the same way. So you got they misinformation coupled in with the people that's completely on the outside that don't know shit either, and they confusing them. You got people online that saying you can self-initiate or you don't need to initiate at all. You can work with those research. So it's too much misinformation, and I don't care to clean it up for you niggas. Definitely not for free, because we both know. For us to get this type of information that we've gathered through EFI, it costs thousands of dollars. Right? So if you want some game, you can sock it to my pocket. If not, fuck you. Believe whatever you want to believe. I could care less. It don't affect or change my destiny. I got to keep my eyes on my own mat and help the people that E5 bring to me. The rest of you niggas, man, you know what I'm saying? I wish you well. I don't know what to
And
tell
I
you.
think that when people like see EFI in practice, they think, because they come at it from a Christian standpoint, when they hear a person say, well, fuck that, you know what I'm saying? Well, what do you think the difference between Christian and EFI, Christianity and EFI is that makes it like, listen, this is not Christianity. It's not a religion. It's a way of life. And we don't necessarily have to like follow the same, turn the other cheek mindset that Christians have. When it really comes down to it, it's really about the individual's development. And how did IFA help you to develop as a person?
It aligned me with my purpose, clearing my mind. Also for me, E5 was a school I've been looking for my whole life. You know what I'm saying? It's the only thing that could grasp my attention in the way that it does. It's the only thing that made sense to the thoughts that I had as a child. The things that I thought about that I couldn't explain and give answers to, E5 gives me those answers. You know what I'm saying? It's something that resonates with me on a spiritual level. Like in a tangible way. It's not something I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? And so he gave me my purpose. This is what I've been looking for my whole life, and I found it. So that's what I'm with. And it's a science. E5 is scientific. I know a lot of niggas don't know that for whatever reason, but this shit is a science, bro. That's why you can go practice any religion and you can still practice E5. because ain't nothing religious
Explain
about
the
it.
science behind it. What is the science?
What is the science? It's the science behind anything. Okay. We would say we would use sage to cleanse a space, right?
Right. Yeah.
Scientifically, sage kills 98% of all bacteria.
Mm. It does? I didn't even know that. I didn't learn
Exactly.
something new today, y'all.
Exactly. So people be thinking it is just like something spiritual. It's a scientific explanation for everything that we do. The herbs that we use is scientific, right? If I'm gonna make you a spiritual bath, if you dealing with anxiety, you overthinking, and you having trouble sleeping, I'm gonna use some chamomile, some lavender, and some mint. That's scientific.
And you know what? And they'll say that that's demonic. Burning sage is they're burning it to the spirit. And you know what? And you know, I'm gonna get off of people saying stuff what they saying because really it doesn't even matter. But I just like for the people in the audience, I just want to also clarify what the ridiculousness of it all is that
Hey, but look, if you feel like burning sage is demonic, don't burn it. You know what I'm saying? And you safe. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about the demons coming in your house because you ain't burning no sage. What you eat don't make me shit, man.
and here's another thing is our demon people get the idea of demons, right? They think it's something outside of them. But bacteria can be a demon, right? Like you said, it
Yeah,
kills
yeah,
bacteria. It kills,
but that's another that's some shit you gotta use for motherfucker that ain't been studying that long. Shout out to Reverend Whoop Ass, because this is one of the things where etymology comes into place, and you have to ask a person what is a demon. Not
exactly.
like
I heard
what
parasites can be demons.
what
They'll
does
say
that
parasites are
word
demonic.
mean? You know what I'm saying? What does the word demon mean? Do the etymology on the word demon and then come back to me. Like people don't even we operate in such a high level of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? We just be saying shit, bro. Niggas don't even know what they be talking about. And I've been studying for 20 years. I don't have time to waste and try to catch you up to some shit I've been trying to figure out for 18, 20 years. Nah, go put in your own 10,000, 20,000, 100,000 hours and then come holler at me.
Shame. Listen, I want to just give Kari, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, great interview, guest is on point, you know.
Yeah, shout out.
Now you might you know, but we're gonna get into some things real quick because we're about to get a little bit spicy here because we're gonna be talking about some things that are going on right now because you are practicing the African spirituality, right?
Uh-huh.
And now there's a whole new movement called FBA, Foundational Black American, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's like this whole like wanting to delineate, you know. Um, what do you think that means for the hip hop movement? At one point, we had the whole, you know, fight the power. We were wearing African medallions. Before that, in the '60s, it was like getting back to, you know, coming back to our roots and this, that, the other in Africa. And now there's an entire movement to delineate away from Africa. And how does that affect African spiritual practitioners, especially the young ones? You know, I'm 50 years old, about well 48, but I'm older. You know, but you're a younger guy. You're in the hip hop movement. What do you think? How do you think that as a younger person, when you see this delineation going on, what do you think? How do you think that affects us?
What does the white man consider to be the fastest growing religion on the planet right now?
I don't know. Which I don't know. Islam,
Anything Orisha based.
really, right now,
Yeah.
interesting.
Uh the church numbers have been dropping for who knows how many years, right?
Hmm.
Name one pro black or pro African movement that was not infiltrated and derailed by the CIA.
Okay, name one.
My point exactly.
Mm. So, what do you think? How? Okay, so how? What do you think that this whole thing Do you think that this?
The longer that we stay divided, the longer we can be manipulated. It's very simple. It's very simple.
So, do you think that this also is an attack on African spirituality when people are saying Pan Africanism is dead, right? Because a lot of us go over to Africa to be initiated sometimes. You know, people that are practicing Shay, you know, they might go to Africa. But if they're creating like a whole division, then it's like
my whole thing is I understand it to a certain extent. Foundational Black American is, which means that you are a descendant of people that was enslaved in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I agree with that. That don't mean that you're not of African descent, though. Like I don't know what's the whole point in saying you FBA. Like what's the
Well, you have some people that believe that we were here in America already, and you have Native American groups, right?
But if you were here before the colonizer, how did you get here? Where did you come from? I ain't saying you wasn't here before the colonizer. I'm saying niggas got on the boats and came over here before the colonizer. Niggas was on the boat with the colonizer and showed them how to get here. It's in their own journal. All you gotta do is read. So what are we talking about?
Right. So even Native Americans, or not, I mean, how'd they get here? So you're saying they came from Africa?
I mean, when they got here, they said when Columbus got here, he said he seen the same shit he seen in Africa. But the very first time he touched down in Central America, he seen the same shit he seen in Africa. The same spears. Well, I mean, what are we talking about?
Right. So do you feel that the delineation movement is good or bad for society as we speak?
It's bad because this is my whole point. Because this how I always felt personally. Listen, bro, whatever you believe as an individual, cool. Leave that shit at the house. What we do know is the white boys outside kicking our ass. When the police pull up, he not gonna say, "You FBA, you Hebrew Israelite, you IFA, you indigenous, you Moorish." He ain't even ask you none of that. He don't give a fuck. The judge, he don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? The government, they don't give a fuck what you think you is. You can tell yourself you whatever the fuck you is. They still kicking our ass the same way. And we look the fucking same. So I don't care what the fuck you think you is. Either we finna fight this fight together or we not. That shit simple as a motherfucker. These won't complicate it. And that go to the trauma from slavery, right? This is what I realized of why the cracker men is so cold, bro. They got niggas arguing over who they are because we don't know. We can't prove it. And truth of the matter is, at this point, we all that shit. We was all captured. We're all prisoners of war that intermingle, that had sex with each other. That's all we is. And we get our ass kicked. And now we arguing if whether we Hebrew or indigenous or Moorish or FBA or Yoruba. Niggas is stupid. Dumb. You fighting amongst each other and you're getting your ass kicked at the same time because niggas don't want to come together because everybody want to be smart.
Wow. So Mr. Know-It-All says, but Black Americans are the only ones that fight with supremacy. The others join and bow down to the supremacy.
Black Americans fight white supremacy is what I'm assuming he's saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying the diaspora bows down to supremacy.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I don't agree that Black Americans fight white supremacy because I don't be seeing that shit. Okay. We all have been colonized, no matter what continent we on. If you go to Africa right now, you're gonna find a bunch of Christians and Muslims. Them niggas been colonized and programmed the same way we have. We all have the same struggle. You know what I'm saying? So it don't fucking matter, bro. It don't matter. You can't point your finger at them and say, "Man, we trying to fight over here, but they not." That shit don't matter, bro. Because even with that statement, the Black Americans is not all on the same page. So what is we saying? We got to get on the same page here first before we can even worry about the diaspora. How we gonna be worried about what's going on somewhere else if we can't hold hands and come together here and put all of our differences, all of our ideological differences to the side and fight the enemy? How we gonna be worried about what somebody else doing?
So someone says Texas, yes, but no one want to talk about Africa.
I don't know what they saying there too
Yeah,
though.
I don't know. I don't know what the context of that is. Okay. So he says I'll take self deport for 1,000. I don't know. Bottom line is that when you practice African spirituality versus the Christianity, I'm like trying to understand what people are trying to really get about this. Is that we delineate, right? So that means we've had to delineate spiritually, physically, mentally from Africa and say that, you know what, we are not African, so their spirituality is not ours, everything is not ours. But I mean, let's get into IFA. I think that when people think about IFA and they think about the whole thing that it has its roots in Ife in Africa, and I would say, yeah, I think that we should all be unified. People kind of attack me for it because they're like, no, we need to delineate away from that because of reparations. And when we are here, the people from they don't want to be a part of us. They come and they take our resources, they take everything from us, and then when if we go to Africa, they're not going to give anything to us, but we give everything to them. That's like the whole argument, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's also things that are being withdrawn. Like I was just on a panel the other day where I was talking about elders and respecting our elders, and the guy, his name is opinionated Ron or whatever. He was like, "Well, I don't think that we need to respect our elders. I think
Oh
that
shit.
yeah, it got down to that we don't have to respect our elders. What do you think about that?"
Oh shit.
Yeah, like what are your thoughts? We don't have to be unbiased Ron podcast. He's saying we should not have to respect others. And that's like something that was never a part of our
That's
it
a
was
that's a European concept because from their perspective, time is linear. You heard? So it don't matter. But from an African perspective or indigenous for you indigenous niggas, because it's gonna be the same. Time is circular, right? So the act of respecting your elders is respecting yourself. The act of respecting the children is respecting yourself. And both of them are closer to where you originally came from than you are, because you in the middle. None of this shit is complicated.
let's talk about that, about like our normal thing of respecting elders versus now it's like a thing of that they feel like, because what happened is Professor Small spoke against Tariq Nasheed, and so now they're gonna find a way. Well, no, I don't think that all elders need to be respected because he spoke against our leader. Right?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, because he said that but so yeah, so that's where it really comes from. Is that well, once an elder is disrespectful, they even called. I was on the show and he said something to the effect of, well, tell me this, if you go into like Marcus Garvey, if he was living right now, would he be considered an elder? And he's a scam artist, so why should we respect him? And I'm saying if Pan Africanism is, I mean, if FBA is a lineage, then that means that you have people in the lineage that murder, kill, do different things. So, I mean, are we going to say that, okay, because they're saying, oh, okay, this person is a scam, but they're going off of the whole thing with the boats that he had and that people lost money because, he was getting like made these like whack boats that was halfway done and had to like take the money and lost the money from the community because he was trying to make fetch happen. Same thing with Umar Johnson. He's trying to open up a school and whatever and trying to make fetch happen. But it's like, okay, so they're trying to use these two examples as Pan Africanism being a scam. And so therefore, when you go to like a Professor Small and he's going against the leader of the FBA movement, that it's like, oh, okay, well, we shouldn't respect Pan Africanism because it hasn't done anything for us.
Man,
Yeah.
much praise and respect to Professor James Smalls at all time. You feel me? Um, if you consider Tariq Nasheed to be your leader, I just acquired some oceanfront property in Oklahoma City, and it's going for the low. You can type in Rakim Al Jabaar on Instagram and DM me, and I'll be selling that oceanfront property by the acre for very cheap. Fuck out of here. Tariq Nasheed, that shit crazy.
Right. So what do you think about that? I mean, and yeah, y'all better respect Dr. Small. Yes, Professor Small, we
Man, I'm
need
not.
to
I'm.
respect our elders. What do you think
Yeah,
about this?
I'm not disrespecting no elder for nothing. Like, and then we talking about Dr. Smalls. Like, do your research. You know what I'm saying? Read. Nigga. Like, I'm not. What? I'm not going against Dr. Smalls for nothing. Definitely not no Tariq Nasheed. Are you crazy? What are we talking about? That's for people who listen. If you learn something from Hidden Colors, man, then I understand. I sympathize with you. You feel me? Hidden Colors ain't teach me shit. Not one motherfucking thing. You know what I'm saying? We was already on that. We had already digested all that. And if you seen Hidden Colors, you should also ask yourself, how did this nigga transform into the FBA nigga? And how fat was that check? And how much of that check is he kicking back to y'all while we talking about a scam? Because if you think the boy ain't get paid, you don't understand history. You heard? He ain't sharing that money with y'all.
Mm, mm, mm.
No, he ain't doing that. He ain't kicked none of you niggas back no green. He ain't doing nothing for no community. Where the FBA school at if that's the case?
Here's a question: from what your understanding of it, even when it comes to IFA and like the things in the Pan African movement, do you think that I mean, we have the Pan African connection here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Now,
Sister Quete.
yes. And so to me, when I think about people saying, well, Pan Africanism is dead, but that store is still open, still in the community as a bookstore, doing shows, letting people come, rent the space out, talk about their stuff, bringing knowledge. And then you have this new group called the FBA. But I'm like, hey, where's your FBA stores? That's my question. You want to say that Pan Africanism is dead, but you don't, where is the equivalent to what Pan African was doing?
Tyreek got the money. What are you doing with the money?
He just has that one hidden museum, but I can see stores that was around the country.
He got what?
He has the Hidden History Museum.
Oh, okay. I thought you said something about music.
No, he does the AI music to like make fun of everybody. But I'm saying he has the Hidden History Museum where he does his events at. But I'm trying to see what is the equivalent for FBAs across where we have bookstores that are FBA. If we're trying to separate or delineate from Pan Africanism, well, I see way more Pan African stores, locations, people doing stuff. Like
I put it to you like this. I'm willing to put all of my personal ideology to the side. I'm willing to say that I will agree to delineate from Pan Africanism if we are all collectively going to adopt whoop-a-cracker-ism or whatever the fuck you want to call it. You heard? If we're going to If we're gonna go outside and kick the enemy asshole, I'm with whatever the fuck you niggas want to call that shit. I'm with that.
So what do you think? I mean, what do you think about the fact that people are saying that, listen, Caribbeans and Africans need to delineate from each other? And then you're in the music business. And I know that sometimes, a Black American artist might do a track with a reggae artist, like our Jamaican, Caribbean. Like, music is not like, so are we going to also delineate music as well? Like, are we going to say, well, we're going to stop doing music with the Caribbean people or people from other cultures because we're Black Americans and we're gonna stop. This is where we get into the hip hop.
So when you FBA, you supposed to be anti
Other cultures,
that's
yes,
black American.
pretty much, yeah, because we have to separate ourselves.
So
The
what
whole
if you third generation Caribbean American, I guess, right? Like if your grandparents came from Jamaica and moved to America, and you was born in America, but you
that would
Jamaican.
be considered a tether. That's a tether because you're tethering off of our lineage because it's about the people that were here from 1820 something, 18 with the lineage of that time from way back to that point.
Listen, yeah, some shit is just too stupid for me to talk about. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not doing that, bro. They got it, bro. Like whatever, like that shit is crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we all been miseducated. The motherfucking ships left the west point of Africa. They stopped in South America. Then they went to Central America. Then they went to North America. And we're supposed to, and they randomly dropping niggas off everywhere. The crazy part is you can use African spirituality to see that. When you go to South America, they're gonna have candomblé. When you get to Central America, you're gonna have lucumí. You get to Mexico and shit, you're gonna have Santeria. When you get to America, you're gonna have whatever you want to call it. Ishe, American IFA, lucumí, a mixture, all that shit. But it's spread out like that for a reason. You know what I'm saying? In Central America, you got lucumí and palo put together because it's motherfuckers that was dropped off there from Europe. It's motherfuckers that was dropped off there from the Congo. In Haiti, you got voodoo, which means them motherfuckers probably came from Benin. Like, this is not complicated. You get to America, you have New Orleans voodoo, you have hoodoo. Them motherfuckers came from Africa and just applied their shit to the new land. You got the Gully Geechee motherfuckers who will tell you that they people is from Africa. So the Geechee people supposed to delineate from Africa too? The motherfuckers who came here and taught the motherfuckers how to grow rice, they supposed to say they not fuck they African ancestors because, man, I'm sorry. That shit is too dumb for me. We gotta talk about something else. Cause niggas stupid. I don't really do well with we don't want nothing to do with Africa. Hashtag delineation. With that black ass picture on your shit, talking about you don't want nothing. So you must perm your motherfucking hair. You don't want nothing to do with Africa. See, this time like this, I wish Jesus was real because I would just pray for him to come take all you niggas. I swear for God, this shit is crazy. We don't want nothing to do with Africa.
Ain't that crazy? I'm trying to tell you.
Like, what these niggas is crazy, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But listen, this the power of slavery, bro. Facts. We from all over. Because niggas don't, nobody can prove their ancestry. You heard? When you factor in slavery and you factor in the drugs, the lineage is destroyed. Because you didn't even have the opportunity to spend that time with your grandparents or your great-grandparents to get the wisdom that they got from their great-grandparents. And then they would actually been able to tell you the stories. So when you sit with people who can't tell you that, then you will have a better understanding. Because you could get to people that you could get to the point where they could tell you, yeah, we came from Africa. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I came from Africa. You perm your motherfucking brain. You ain't got to perm your hair. You perm your motherfucking brain. You know what I'm saying? The people can tell you where they came from.
Yeah, they have a roots divination that will break down where you came from and
Yeah,
who
well,
you're.
I ain't even a nigga gonna tell you that shit wrong. I wasn't even gonna say that because I don't even you stupid. But that's my whole point. I already know that. When you sit
Right,
at the mat, the nigga it gonna tell you where you came from.
right.
We
Yep.
can tell you all that. They can tell you who you was in your past life. They can tell you what ancestor you are returned.
Mm, yep.
It's
But
not.
do you think that this is like a concerted effort to like take people away from the knowledge of IFA? Because in order to like get in IFA, you have to acknowledge Africa, right?
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna agree to that. But I'm gonna say because Ifa is the wisdom of nature, and whoever decides to walk away from these screens and return to nature in the next 10 to 20 years are gonna be the most prosperous people. I don't give a fuck where niggas think they from. I don't give a fuck where niggas think they from. Oh, and for all you FBA indigenous niggas, I got indigenous ancestors too. I'm just not stupid like y'all. I promise you. I got both. Like
Right.
everybody. Like everybody. We
And
all we
you talk
all
about
mixed up.
ancestry in Cuba and all
Yeah.
different
I got
places.
all that shit. I got Cuban ancestors. I got Native ancestors. I got African ancestors. I got Jamaican ancestors, Haitian ancestors. You niggas is dumb. We all mixed in with y'all. Listen, y'all niggas know how we out here fucking right now. Y'all think we just started fucking like this? No. We been fucking. They was having 10, 15 kids back in the day. Not with one woman. Yeah. Your great grandfather, he had a Haitian bitch, a Cuban bitch, a native bitch, an African bitch. All them hoes got pregnant. And you think you just
Oh no, because the census said. Like, who made the census? You didn't. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have control of those papers.
hey, I was in class with niggas like y'all my whole life. I hated y'all then too. I swear to God, you niggas is dumb. I promise you. You niggas is dumb, bro. That shit's stupid. Y'all got it though. Cause I don't care. This shit don't affect me. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, you know what I'm saying? Listen, people, listen.
Niggas is stupid, bro. Like it's crazy.
That's what I be thinking about myself too. Is like, really, we are really going to white people right now will say that they know that they came out of Africa now, but more than this FBA move. That the FBA want to delineate white people are going closer to and going over there and buying up.
Man, niggas is
And
crying.
when I try to say, hey, we should like practice a global like business mindset. They're like, no, we need to do whatever we got to do here. I'm like, well, hell, we've been here for like what 400 years. We ain't did it yet. Well, yeah, we've done it. It got destroyed. So why the heck do we keep doing the same thing over and over again and get the same result, or do we like do something different? You know.
Got
But
to.
come against me and say, well, Pan Africanism is dead. We need to like be focused on us. Get all these Haitians and get all these people out of our country and let us like do things here in this country. This is the mindset that's going on here.
That's what the FBA be saying. Get the Haitians out the country.
Get all the Caribbeans out the country.
Right.
Everybody to go
So
immigration.
so 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 fuck the
They're
jerk
doing
chicken.
everything
So I'm
calling
supposed to believe
immigration
you
on.
niggas don't like jerk chicken. Y'all don't like jerk chicken.
Honey, loves me some jerk chicken curry chicken.
Y'all don't like curry goat. Huh? Cabbage, rice, and peas. You niggas lying like a motherfucker.
Honey, I would eat some curry goat in a second. Come on now.
Yo, these niggas is crazy, man.
They act like they ain't never been to no Jamaican restaurant. You know what I'm saying? No, we FBA. We ain't gonna go to your Jamaican restaurant. It's all about the Black American. Come on, now. Y'all know y'all like that Jamaican food. I love food.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's why I don't be paying attention. That shit is too wild, but I'd be laughing all day. Them niggas crazy.
Right.
Yo, that's wild.
So let's like get into E-File a little bit. Let's talk about this because you know what? I think this interview we gotta do in part two because
Yeah.
we didn't even get to. We already at an hour and a half. We didn't even get into E-File that much, and I really want to really delve deep into E-File and your whole journey in the EFA and what it has done for you in your life. I want to really get into that. Let's break that down because I think that people, you know, like the Christian church, right? Because you grew up with your parents being Muslim, Abrahamic, Christian, Abrahamic, and then you chose a different path. What was that like in your family choosing that path? Were you demonized? Were you like ostracized? And even just being in Texas, a Bible Belt state, did you like lose friends? Because I know that I lost a lot of friends when I chose this path. What happened to you?
I mean, with the family, of course, you're gonna get the side eye and shit like that, especially from Granny and them. Um, but the interesting thing with that, through ancestral veneration and praying for information to come to me, which made sense because, like I said, so my grandfather, his mother was full blooded native. You know what I'm saying? His father was African, right? And neither one of his parents ever converted to Christianity. Neither did he. He didn't raise his kids that way. My great grandfather was a businessman, though. He had a farm and he owned a gas station. He owned one of the two only gas stations in a small town in Colorado called Lacey, Texaco. You know what I'm saying? This is in the 1930s, 1940s. He already had his own gas station, right? His Caucasian neighbors converted his daughters to Christianity. You know what I'm saying? It was never nothing that he fucked with himself, right? And so I leaned on that understanding and knew that it was just a part of my destiny to return the bloodline to what it was supposed to be, as far as we're dealing with the practices of nature. You feel me? So the sideline shit I got from the family, that shit ain't really bothering me too much. As far as with my peers and my friends, the conversations that they had with me, and I think for most people in general, even my family, right? The way that IFA improved my character and my physical energy and my aura prevented them from questioning it or having a disdain for it because they seen the tangible evidence of it working. You know what I'm saying? And then when they converse with me, they can tell that I'm not on none of that. And you know me already. You're watching my character improve in front of you. You can feel my energy when I'm around you. You can feel the energy if you step into my home. Anywhere I've lived since I practiced E5, any woman that has came in my home or in my room or slept in my bed, and then I'm talking platonically, they all speak to the amount of peace that they haven't felt in such a long time. They all speak to getting a level of sleep that they haven't got in such a long time. So I felt like the evidence of E5 working for me is what shielded me from some of that scrutiny that I might have got. But I do, it's a certain level of solitude that I'm operating in at the same time to where, once again, I got my eyes on my own mat. I don't really care about what you think of me.
What about, you talk about that peace, right? And that solitude. So what part of IFA do you think that drives a person into being more solitary, less going and being around everybody, but more like to yourself and more not isolated, but just more solitary?
Well, you just become more aware of energy and how tangible it is, and it's a real thing, right? So you want to be careful about the people and things that you interact with on a daily basis because that can affect your aura. You know what I'm saying? We also understand that humans are operating with a hive mind. So every thought that passes through your mind is not your own thought. And the more time you spend around other people, the more that you have to deal with, the more clutter you're inviting into your mind, right? And then two is just the places that we should be as practitioners. When I go sit by the water, it's just not a lot of people out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just not you might not be what I'm on. I might want to go walk through the forest. I might want to go walk and sit at the top of a hill. You know what I'm saying? I might want to go sit by a creek or a river. And that just might be something that you're not into. And it's not a place where you're going to find a lot of humans. You know what I'm saying? But sitting in nature is in silence is where you will gain a lot of wisdom. You feel me? And so
Let's talk about the hive mind, though. The hive mind. What is the hive mind?
where we share minds, like, yo, you might have a thought that passed through my mind, which you already know, right? I was over there. You was finna say something. I heard what you was finna say. I said it to you. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that means our minds are connected as humans. And it's like sometimes you have what you think is an original thought and an idea, and you don't move on it fast enough, and then you see someone else act on your same idea and it bothers you. Because we all pulling from the same source.
You know, Michael Jackson said that, you know what, a lot of times he would have to like hurry up and do something when he got an idea because Prince would get it.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah. So that's representation of the hive mind, right? But the more time you spend with yourself, the thing about it is you learn your voice more. The more you learn to know your own internal voice, you can differentiate between the other ones, and you know yourself, and you know how to remove or sift through that clutter with ease, because you know it's not you talking.
Let's talk about the internal voice. You know, sometimes we hear this voice. You know, when I got initiated, the first thing I was told was, hey, you've been told everything that was going to happen to you. You just didn't listen. What is wrong with us that we don't listen to our inner voice? Why do we question that voice?
I mean, because it's not something that we was taught to do from a child, so it's just not a part of our culture, unfortunately. You know what I mean? We're not taught to meditate and learn that voice and build and cultivate a relationship with it. So how can you trust it? You know what I'm saying? We're not trust to go with our gut, We think that our mind does the thinking for us, but the first brain is in the stomach. The stomach sends a signal to the brain. You know what I'm saying? Intuition is in the gut, fear is in the mind.
Mm. And so, you know, you think about where other religions, they'll think of the spirit outside of themselves more than the spirit within themselves. So therefore, they would question themselves because if you have a spirit that you believe that is higher than you, that's outside of you, and you get your own mind and your own voice telling you you should do X, Y, Z, but your spirit is telling the spirituality of it all might have words or doctrines that say don't do that or do it like this. That's where you question your own self. So it's could you do you find yourself like that people could question themselves based on the doctrine that they believe in?
Facts. Because they have no power. They give all their power up to an external entity. It does everything for them. They are powerless. You know what I'm saying? They are nothing but a slave to the will of their God. God has already ordered their steps. He does all the thinking and planning and everything for them.
So, what did you find out more and more? You know, has IFA how has IFA directly influenced you, like from a day to day basis? Like, okay, normally I would do X, Y, Z.
Oh, it's
But
just
now I
it's
do this.
just it's spiritual hygiene, right? So we have physical hygiene. People gonna wash their ass, wash their face, brush their teeth, go out the house. Me, I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna put some F-food on my feet. I might put some on my head. I'm gonna wear a particular oil to protect myself. Things of that nature. I don't go nowhere without my mojo bag in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I have consecrated items on me at all times. I have some tool of divination on me at all times. You feel what I'm saying? And I might divine on the energy for the day before I leave the house. So I can see if I even should leave the house. It might be best for me to stay in the house today. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get into the color white. I see you're wearing white. What do you think that the color white and the significance in IFA represents?
I mean, white always represents purity, right? Cleanliness, right? Also, it's an inverse thing. So spirits see black the way we see white, and they see white the way we see black. So white also acts as a shield when you're doing spiritual work.
So, do you think that people should wear more white more often, or do you think that that's only like for certain people?
Yeah, people should wear white more often. In general, for sure.
when you in my year in white, because I didn't go to the Isheshe way, in Lukumi you have to go through a whole year where you wear white.
Right.
And one thing it showed me is like it makes you more careful,
Yeah.
What is wearing hot white all the time on a regular basis have done to you for you? Because I know for me, it makes you like where you sit at or you go to because you don't want to, you're not gonna be looking filthy.
I ain't gonna lie, it just depends because I wear white so much. I have like white for like if I'm going out. I have white for if I'm going to work. And then I have on what I have on right now because we did some elbow today. This is called working whites. I only wear this if we're doing work, right? Because if we're doing work, it's no telling what can get on me. Ain't no being careful. You know what I'm saying? I done stood I done stood 20, 30 feet away from the elbow before and still got blood on me. So it's not no, you never know what can happen. You know what I'm saying? So from blood to mud to herbs to fecal matter, you never know. So these, what I got on right now is working whites. Anything can happen in this. I don't care.
So let's get into like the blood, the sacrifice, the whole thing. People get scared when they hear about blood and sacrifice. Like, oh my God, blood sacrifice.
Yeah.
What is the importance of blood sacrifice in IFA?
Um, it feeds and activates a particular energy. When you need a particular response, when it's a situation that is dire, then you was gonna go to some blood, especially within my lineage. We not blood heavy. You know what I'm saying? So if you in a ceremony, you're receiving something, 9 times out of 10, blood is gonna be needed. Once a year with your implements, you're gonna feed them blood to recharge them. And then life or death situations, okay, we probably gonna use some blood. But other than that, we're not leaning on it heavy. But it is times where it's called for in order to make that energy move. It's just considered one of the strongest forces of Ashe on the planet.
They don't know what Ashe is. What is Ashe?
Um, Ashe is primordial energy that exists in all living things, but Ashe can be amplified.
So what so when you so because you have some Christians that watch this and be like, oh, see, they sacrificing using the blood and that's the devil, right? So let's go into like why is blood in certain because if people eat chicken, I mean chickens bleed. I'm sorry. Before they go to the before that butcher bleeds that chicken out and has it sitting on that thing and you pick it up, and you put it in your cart, it was bleeding. It was a live animal. For
Mhm.
some reason now we have forgotten. I think that we forget that these things that we are eating, meat, blood, And so, what is what? Let's break down blood and sacrifice, and why is it important when it comes down to E5? Like when it comes down to cleansing something, and why is it necessary?
Um, like I said, if you making an orisha, you giving somebody an orisha in a ceremony, you need blood to activate that spirit, bring that spirit down. When you go into your implements once a year just to recharge them, you probably gonna give them some blood. Life or death situation, you're gonna use blood because it's the strongest form of Ashe. Now, you can cleanse somebody without killing the animal. You know what I'm saying? I could cleanse you with a pigeon and I can let the pigeon go. It's all based off divination. This is not a blanket statement thing. You know what I'm saying? When you're doing it right. We're gonna divine and see what Ifa or whatever other Orisha we speaking to wants to be done. You get what I'm saying? So it's a
So,
case by case scenario.
right. So divination. What is the difference between divination that happens, like okay, tarot cards versus a Ifa divination?
With Ifa divination, you are speaking with Orumala, and Orumala is using Odu to communicate with you whatever the energy is of whatever question it is that you posed. With tarot is a card based system. You're not speaking with anybody unless you're a medium, and you using tarot cards to communicate with whatever spirit that you communicate with, but you're going off the tarot system, basically. So that's the difference.
So
And
you can't
anybody can do,
access tarot through. You can't access IFA through tarot.
of course not.
I just have to make that plain.
No,
People
I
might
know.
not.
I saw somebody online telling people what they crowning Orisha was with tarot cards. You know, can't knock the hustle, but that can only be done by an IWO. And everybody can pull tarot cards. Everybody can't be an IWO.
Why is that?
It's not a part of everyone's destiny.
Let's discuss destiny in IFA and why it's important. Everybody's not meant to become an IWO. Everybody's not.
And you can receive the Tay-Fi initiation and still not be considered a priest. They might give you that initiation to save your life. They might give you that initiation so you can know your destiny, but you're not supposed to work and act and move as a priest. You just needed that ashe.
Let's go into a priest versus warlock versus witches. What's the difference between a
I don't
priest?
I don't know
A,
what a warlock or a witch is. We only using the word priest even to make you understand in the West, because that's not what the meaning is. You know what I'm saying? A Babalawo is a father of the mystery. You know what I'm saying? The Awos know the secrets. And I ain't
I would
even
say that this was like an ancient mystery system that people use, similar to. I would say would it be closer to. I would say a doctor probably at the time back in the day. You know, the doctors were a part of like a society of people. In that society, you just didn't like become a doctor. You just got the certain people, probably lineage based. You know, just like people want to talk about the lineage. You know, were doctors. They were healers. You know, and that's passed down through lineage.
for
Uh,
sure.
so let's go into ancestry and how important ancestors are, and how like that lineage could be passed down. Because you, even your father passing away, and then you becoming a hip hop artist. That's a lineage.
Yeah. I mean, you are your ancestors, seven back on each side, seven back on your mother's side, seven back on your father's side. They are scientifically present in your DNA. You know what I'm saying? And so through ancestral veneration, you're venerating yourself. You're interacting with yourself at the same time. The work that we do is to cleanse the bloodline forwards and backwards in antiquity, because, like I said previously, time is circular. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to improve this experience for everyone. It's a collective thing. I'm just a representative of the collective at this moment on this timeline. You feel me? That's all it is.
Now you have a path, of course. So I believe that you have a path of becoming a Babalawo.
Uh
What
huh.
is, how does it feel with that path? Like, do you feel a lot of responsibility for the community around you, or
Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a large responsibility, especially because in the modern time, the Awo's reputation is in jeopardy. You know, we have a lot of the brothers either on the continent or over here in America that use their position and their title to manipulate people. You know what I'm saying? So, um, to me personally, the position has been watered down because a lot of people that obtain the position lack integrity, and it has become more so business driven than spiritual driven. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I look forward to tackling that task of representing what our hour was actually supposed to be.
So, as a person that's in hip hop that is practicing Ifa, I mean, do you find yourself getting less and less into music, or and getting more into the actual spiritual like Babalawo role, or where is music in this whole thing? Where does it? Where?
Yeah. I mean, of course, it doesn't hold the same importance that it always did. But I understand that it's a tool. I understand that I could gain certain people's attention with it. I understand that I can hide certain information in the songs and speak to people's subconscious mind. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's something that I still love to do naturally. So I'm just getting it off how it come to me in an artistic fashion.
Oops, sorry about that.
And I think it's necessary because, like you said earlier, we don't have a. It's far more people who practice IFA that are rap musicians that people would know. They just don't speak about it. And we
Why do you think that is?
talking about successful people. I mean, because business. They know it's gonna be scrutinized. They know people don't understand it. And so what's the point?
So now that there is, I mean, I think that at one point there was like this growth in E5. Do you think now it's like being stifled by this new movement that's
No,
going to come in? No?
no.
Because you say it's the fastest growing thing, right?
Yeah. It needs to be stifled. Shit. You know what I'm saying?
You think less people need to be doing it?
Hell yeah.
Why you say that?
Well, especially the way it is right now, right? It's just too commercialized. It's too romanticized. Nobody is giving these people the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about the money. People is initiating people and getting the money, and you know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't got no real information.
I know. I know. At one point, man, you got into it about like even the Ianifa thing. You said that a woman should not become Ianifa.
You said I don't remember getting into it.
No, you did not get in. Well, I got into it in my mind because I was like, "What?"
No, for real, you just told on yourself.
Right. In my mind, I was going off, but I didn't say nothing. I was like, "What?" But
Listen,
let's talk about the woman's role in E5 and what your thought frame is and why you would say a woman should not become an E in E5. Let's go into E5 in that way.
I briefly spoke to this in class yesterday, right? There was a time when the Babalawo did not exist. It was only the Iyami cult, right? But they was running rampant on the planet. They was drunken off their own power. And so Oludumare created the Babalawo in order to bring balance. So you might hear someone say, women can't see Odu. Why? Because Odu is feminine. What is Odu representative of? The womb. You have a womb, which means you was born with all the secrets within you. I, as an Awo, get introduced to the mysteries and the secret of the womb. That is what makes me be able to operate with a level of Ashe that can compete with that of the woman who's closer to the Iyami. Now, over time, in modern society, you have people saying that the Awo or the Babel Awo is supreme, and they doing that on some patriarchal shit. So they made the Iyani Fa, but that don't make no sense. And the thing is, the Iyami cult is harder to get into. Niggas be passing out Ifa left and right. So okay, we take your money, make you Iyani Fa, let you throw the Pele, whatever. Niggas don't care. But truthfully, when you look at the science of it, it's ignorant. It don't make no sense. And then if you wasn't supposed to be an Iyami priest, then that's not my fault. I'm not finna just make you an Iyani Fa to appease your ego because you feel like we on some patriarchal shit when we not. It's a male cult. It is what it is. Well, now you don't win ghosts.
Hold on, let me see because I think I got kicked off. Hold on.
You got kicked off.
Oh, you can hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I had to pick up my daughter, so I'm I'm multitasking.
Oh, okay, for sure.
So when you're talking about like the EME and Ianifa, wasn't it in Africa that they allowed the Ianifa like to have its own ability to throw a pele? Like, so why would we go against that and say that's not right?
I'm saying that they only did that to appease the ego and calm the movement of women saying that it was patriarchal when it's not.
Right. So at first, all the women were Olorisha, and they would go to a certain point in Olorisha, and because of the Babalawo group, it's like, well, no, only Babalawo can see Odu, so therefore, they're the only ones that could divine with the Opwele, and that was the reason. That's it.
Women don't need to see Odu because you are Odu. You a woman. You walking with Odu. You don't need to see it. The man needed that information because he didn't have it. He
Mm.
wasn't born. He wasn't born with it. You born with it.
So is that like a thing of like just being able to divine? Because all IFA mainly is a divination, right? Actual tool, right, to divine with. And so, are you saying that a woman can see Odu without even divining, like from like a like I would say like what's the word when you do to be like dreams or other ways of getting the information, or is that what you're saying?
Correct. Correct.
So that so women naturally automatically have the natural ability to kind of see into a person and
Correct.
give them, especially at a certain age, right? And you're saying that you shouldn't even need to divine as a woman because you already naturally even have, well, certain women naturally already have that ability, but the Babalawo has to divine to tap into that ability. Is that what we're saying?
Yes. The Babalawo does not have the Babalawo. When he became an Awo, he was granted the information that resides within the womb. The woman has a womb already.
So actually, it would be giving up their own power to actually have to use a tool to divine with because it should be automatically like a natural thing,
You're not
like
necessarily
intuition.
giving up your own power. It's just ignorant. It's an egotistical thing.
Interesting. You know what? I never looked at it from that standpoint. That it's more like women just wanting to be say that, you know what, you guys have this, we want to be a part of it
Yeah,
too.
we
So
we
therefore,
equal. I want to go to work too. I don't want to stay at home and take care of the kids. I want a job. It's the same thing.
ah. But what do you feel also about a pet to be, about the whole fact that they say a pet to be is a slave to the Babalao or Irumila, or no, they'll say that they don't want to be a pet to be because a pet to be is a slave to a Babalao. What do you
I
think
don't
about
know
that?
because in the look of me, a lot of that shit get different than how we do it. You know what I'm saying? So like, cause
I know I've heard that in Isheshe. I've heard that people in Isheshe, like the women, don't want to be a pet to be because they feel like, well, a pet to be is a slave. That it's like almost like you are a slave to whatever Babalao.
I never heard that.
Oh yeah, I've heard it. Well, you know, it might be a thing that only women talk about amongst each other. I don't know.
I mean,
Interesting.
women don't get handled that way in my Elay, so I don't know. I've heard women complain about things from other Elays. I've heard a Lukumi woman complain about how they have to act around the Babalawos, but none of that happens in my Elay, so I wouldn't know.
So let's get into let's go into the different herbs and the reason herbs are important in Ifa. We talked about Omiro. Most people don't even know what the Omiro is. And so you get a reading, the Babalao points out that there's something wrong. After that, they say, okay, well, this is the prescription. Part of that prescription might be a animal sacrifice or Omiro bath or something like that. Let's go into what those things mean and why they are significant.
Yarrow bath is just going to be a herbal mixture that can either alleviate some trials and tribulations that you are going through and cleanse and clean your aura or your home, or it can enhance the abundance, wealth, and prosperity that is already at your door.
So what happens when a person will say, okay, well, this thing is a witchcraft situation. That's witchcraft, right? If you are manipulating what a person's situation is or whatever, then that's a witchcrafty thing. You're not accepting what you should just live life and just pray, and it is what it is. Like you have no control over what happens in life. You are predestined. Everything is predestined. Let's talk about like the fact that I'm sorry, predestiny versus divination and how to change destiny.
The phone had broke up, so you said let's. And when last thing I heard was let's talk about.
I'm sorry, destiny, predestiny, and free will. Because bottom line is that in Abrahamic religion, they would say that whatever your life is supposed to be, you accept it, you pray on it. You can't change what's supposed to happen, right? But in IFA, it's like you can change it. So, and then they say that that's witchcraft. Can you go into the real understanding of IFA and destiny and changing that you don't have to like if you're going to be in a car accident tomorrow and you find out, do you just speed toward the accident or can you go around it? And why is that
Yeah, yeah,
insignificant in IFA?
yeah. You can stay in home. Your destiny changes all the time. That's very simple. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy you said erect is what I was going to say. If you leave the house and when you get to the end of the street, you can either make a right or you can make a left. Well, if you make a left, you're gonna run into a wreck, but you don't know this. If you make a left, you're gonna run into a wreck. But some tell you normally go to the left, but some tell you go to the right this time. You just changed your destiny. You know what I'm saying? Destiny is something that is always changing because the universe that we exist in is built off of cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? Every action has a reaction. So when you make a certain decision, you change in everything that happens after that. You get what I'm saying? So destiny is always changing and free will is always in place. That's just like if you go to an album and you get a reading, you don't have to do nothing that he say. It might not work out good for you, but you don't have to listen. You have the free will to